Poltergeist. A teen's anger unleashes a violent poltergeist levitating his brother and terrifying his family. When I was 14 and I was in the process of learning, I had a fight with my brother the night before. I lay on my bed in my room, getting more and more annoyed with the outcome of the fight. Books started flying across the room, with papers whizzing around everywhere. The blankets were ripped off my bed. I could see it all happening, but it was as if I was not there and couldn't respond. My body felt heavy, and I could not even talk. I started to focus on my brother, and I was able to actually look through the wall at where he was bundled up sleeping. My thoughts were getting stronger and stronger, and I could feel something happening. I imagined him raising up higher, and then waking up and jumping out of bed, but from about 7 feet in the air, and seeing the look on his face as he fell to the floor. I was so amused with it. Then I heard my mom scream out, "Dee Donnie, you stop that now." I heard a loud crash and a loud groaning noise. I was able to move again, and I bolted out of bed, wondering what I had done to get screamed at. My mom, her face as white as a sheet, stood in the hall with the clothes she was taking into my brother's room, in a pile at her feet. She turned and looked at me and said, "You're evil." I was most upset about that, and I asked in not a quiet voice, "What the hell did I do?" As I ran to my brother's bedroom door, I was just in time to see his Year 11 paperwork settle gently on the floor, and my brother in a crumpled heap, back facing the ground, half on and half off his bed. His legs were still on the bed, the rest of him on the floor, and moaning. What happened? My mum said Rick was levitated to near the ceiling, and his things were flying round the room in a circle, and you are the only one who would play stupid tricks like that. Mom and I were never that close. I was a daddy's girl. Of course I denied it, as any typical 14-year-old would, but I was made to stay in my room until Daddy got home. It was a Saturday? Ooh. I received a lecture from Dad about conjuring up energies that could hurt others, as well as myself. I did learn my lesson, but I didn't like the look on Mom's face, or being called evil. Dad didn't wallop me, and I lost a Saturday, which to a kid is the day off school. I also had to apologize to my brother, but my daddy did tell him that I was the one person in the world not to upset. I did realize what I had done, that the energy I had used was wasted and could have been used in a much better way. But at that stage, I still didn't think it could have been used in a more satisfying way. Dad, of course, rang and spoke to my tutor, and I had to do a 3,000-word essay on poltergeist energy and how impossible it is to control, and as such, dangerous. That was the first and last time I did that. Noisy calling poltergeists. Teased at school, Bobby heard whispers and saw objects move, possibly a poltergeist. Then, it stopped. It all started when people at school started teasing me in 4th grade. The first night, it was mostly silent. I was sleeping on the couch, like I did almost every weekend I spent at home, and I heard a thump from the kitchen. I got up and went into the kitchen, and a box of microwave popcorn had fallen onto the floor. I heard soft laughing and someone saying, "Hey, Bobby, I like your house. It's great for playing games." The next night was during one of the many weekends I spent at my friend Presley's house. Presley had fallen asleep earlier in the night, and I stayed up reading manga. I saw the first book in that series lift up, and it looked like someone was reading it. The voice was the same from what I had heard the weekend before. It said, "Good book, you have good taste." Just a whisper, like it had been gently making its presence known. I walked over to Presley's bed. "Presley, wake up. Something's talking to me. I think it's a ghost," I whispered. She shot up. "A ghost?" "Yeah. Look, I turned, and the book was back on the bed, but something was reading my book, and a voice was talking to me. I thought you were probably just dreaming, Presley said, but got up. Bree might know something about it. We'll ask her tomorrow. Here. She took a notebook out of a drawer. Write what happens in that. Bree's coming next weekend. You can ask her then. Presley's cousin Bree was interested in that kind of stuff, like me and Presley were. She knew about ghosts like poltergeists, so Presley thought it'd be a good idea to ask her. After Presley went back to bed, I returned to my book. The same thing happened, only this time, the voice asked, "You told her about me? Don't you like me?" "I don't know who you are," I told it. "I don't trust you." I wrote down what happened. The next weekend was another weekend spent at Presley's. Bree came. "Hey, Bree," I said when I got there. "Weird stuff has been happening lately, and I thought you might know something about it." I handed her the notebook, which had info about the past week. Monday, pencils started to roll around on desk, and the same voice from the last 2 times something like this happened laughed. Tuesday, books started to move around on the desk of the person next to me. Mrs. Cook asked me what was going on, and I didn't have any answer. Wednesday, stuff in the cafeteria started to move while I was getting myself some food from the salad bar. They blamed me because I was one of the people there at the time, and a lot of kids hated me. Thursday, nothing. Peaceful today. Friday, finally, the weekend. Again, today was peaceful. Bree nodded. We might be able to find out about it online. We went onto a website that diagnoses ghost problems. Bree typed in parts of what was happening. The result? Poltergeist. Poltergeist is German for noisy ghost. Poltergeists are like tricksters. They move things, make noises, and in rare cases, talk to the agent of the ghost. Agents of poltergeists are usually adolescents between the age of 10 to 20. They may have suffered things such as teasing, abuse, or generalized stress. Poltergeists, I thought. I think I read something about that in a book once. I remembered reading about a poltergeist in the book Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones. Oh yeah, I read about that in a book, I remembered. The poltergeist in that story caused a lot of trouble. So you know how to stop a poltergeist? Bree asked. Nope, I shrugged. The trouble continued for about a month before suddenly stopping. I still wonder if it was a poltergeist or not. Not all visitors from the other side come to scare. Like this video if you believe. Subscribe for more true stories. And tell us your experience in the comments.